On behalf of your host, Steve D, this is Bruce Buffer saying thank you for tuning in to Xtreme Lyfe. And now, this is the moment Xtreme Lyfe fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
All right, we are live. I am here today, man, with Turbo, Phumi, Nkuta. Hopefully I said that right. Did I say that right, my friend?
Turbo, Phumi, Nkuta. That's close, but it's all right. It's
all
good.
Right. Sorry, man. But hey, you know what? You are on a streak, man. You're on a roll. I think you're on a 6-win streak before all this craziness happened with the pandemic, and then all of a sudden the whole world shut down and kind of, one of the questions and one of the things that comes up a lot when I interview fighters is, because there was a lot of people that were going really hard and really strong right before all this shit happened. And now it just all got halted, and you're about to get back in the ring again. To come back, you turned pro last year, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And, came in and, you currently have a, undefeated, a perfect pro record, a perfect record, period. I don't think I have a loss on you.
Hey, man, not me.
No. Hey, you know what? You have a very strong start going. I think you're going to beginning of an amazing career in MMA. So tell me about it, man. I mean, what are your thoughts on the next fight? I mean, you're coming in after a long layoff. I know you're working out. I know you're training because I was, hanging around last weekend, and I saw a lot of people doing their thing, trying to get ready for fights. And it's, because fights are back. And so tell me about it. What's going on now, man, with coming back in?
Dude, it's just finally I get my opportunity, man. Like that's all it is, man. The training never stopped. It's always been consistent. I've always been working out. I've always been in the gym, and even though I haven't been fighting, man, I've been around guys like Merab Dvalishvili, like Aljamain Sterling. You know what I mean? We got studs like Dennis Bazooka and Steve Lee and all these other guys that are training in the gym. So even though I'm in the ring fighting, trust me, I'm with those guys, and those guys are putting in work. So I feel freaking fantastic going into this fight, man. Yeah,
you're coming out of Law MMA. Nothing but killers in that gym. I'm just gonna say because nothing but killers. You got Aljo Sterling who's fighting for a title in a couple weeks. Merab, you brought him up. There's just a ton of amazing fighters coming out of there. You got Matt Serra down there who trains a lot of you guys out there with the jiu-jitsu and the ground. And Ray Longo. You just can't get better than that, man. How has that prepared you in this journey? Having all that talent and all those guys and those amazing trainers around you.
Look, it's so crazy because when I was thinking about being in this sport, and I've always wanted to be a mixed martial artist, man, but I don't know. I think it's also pretty awesome too that I just ended up with those guys, man. And some people talk about destiny and certain things, but I don't think there's another group of people, man, that I would have wanted to be on this journey with, fighting aside, man. Obviously these guys have great credentials. Aljo, he's one of the best. Ray, he's obviously the greatest coach of all time, in my opinion. But
I couldn't agree more.
Outside of all that, there's still great people too, man. And they help you not just in the ring, but in life. So the fact that I have that in my corner, I think means everything to me, man. And I wouldn't be as good as I am today without them.
Yeah, and like I said, you couldn't find, there is probably no better, place on the East Coast that I could think of and better talent and people to train with. And you said in life too, those guys been around the block, they know their stuff, they know how, because a lot of times, you could defocus. Life can take you in different directions and especially now with people, I know there's a lot of people right now that want to fight and are looking for fights, but it's few and far between right now because most of the promotions are still shut down. There's a few that are out there operating, right? I know you're going out. Your next fight is on October 30th. 30th with Cage Fury, right?
Yeah.
So
a year after my last fight for Bellator, man. So it's been
almost to the day. Almost to the day, man. That's crazy, right? But and you had a great debut with Bellator. I mean, so you know, you got a lot of stuff going on. What got you into MMA? What made you decide? You know, what started this fire that you have going on, man, with MMA?
I gotta be honest, man. Because I was always the kind of kid, man. I was always working hard at something. I was running around doing one thing, playing a sport here. But I was a pro wrestling fan. My brothers got me into pro wrestling when I was young. Okay. And one day, you know, they were away, obviously, and I was just flipping through the channels, and I see Ken Shamrock, who I thought was just a pro wrestler.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I knew him as. I saw him in TV. And I'd watched boxing before. I'd watched kickboxing. You know, I'd seen those two sports before. But when I saw this guy, Tito Ortiz, on top, I think he took him down and threw some ground and pound, man. And I was just like, whoa, this is no other sport like I've seen before, man. And after the fact, when they actually awarded the guy the belt, I was like, man, this is – not only is this cool, but they're giving out belts for this too. Possible, you know, this is pretty cool. But honestly, the thing that was really cool to me though was the fact that something would happen, there was an action, and then there was a reaction, right? Mm-hmm. Tito Ortiz would take Ken Shamrock down, and Ken Shamrock would try to get up using certain techniques. And there were certain things that were going on that if you just are watching from outside, you might think, oh, it's just two people brawling. It's just human cockfighting. But once you actually start to break it down and actually really look at what's going on in the ring, man, it's, in my opinion, and I even learned this from a young age, it's high-level chess at, like, with crazy consequences, you know? And I think that's what really made me, like, get hooked to it.
Yeah, I mean, everything, and everything you said is awesome because it's you know, absolutely true. I mean, everything in that has you know, every action has a reaction, right? Every submission attempt has a defense, right? Every strike has a defense. You know, you never know what's going to happen. It's two people in the ring, and it's not just about how conditioned you are. It's about how smart you are in figuring out what the other person's going to do, right? I mean, that's –
and it makes the journey almost that much greater, man, because you learn one thing – and then you can learn another thing, man. The process of learning in this game just never stops, man. And I'm just a sponge. I'm trying to just take it all in, man, and be the best. So,
yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the game, you know, it's progress, not perfection, right? So you're always making progress. You're always learning. You're always trying to figure out the next spy. It's great. You know, I love that you brought up Ken Shamrock because here's something pretty cool for you. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I just had him on the show. You're the guest. No. Right? You're the guest right now. Ken Shamrock. What did it So that's pretty cool. Yeah, literally just had him on, you know, and you were, yeah, awesome guy. I mean, we talked a lot about, he's really big in, I don't know if you've seen Valor Bare Knuckle yet, but he's promoting Valor Bare Knuckle fighting, which is, you know, crazy. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. But yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. So what would you say your specialty is? I mean, are you a stand-up guy? Are you like to take it to the ground? What's your favorite kind of, I mean, would you rather stand and go toe to toe, or would you like to take somebody down and try to get the submission?
I think this right here is my specialty right here, is my brain. Honestly, man, when it comes to striking, I don't want to just call myself a striker because I know I can wrestle. I don't want to just call myself a wrestler because I know I have jiu-jitsu. And, you know, same thing with jiu-jitsu and the strike, man. I could honestly do it all. It's just about using it in all the right ways, man. So, and I think that's what makes me different from all these other fighters out in the world, man, is a lot of these guys are just strikers. A lot of these guys come into the game just being wrestlers, and they have to learn all the other traits along the way. Me, man, I feel like I'm pretty solid everywhere. And not only on top of that, I'm pretty solid at putting them all together too. And this ain't just boxing. This ain't just kickboxing. This isn't just wrestling or jiu-jitsu, but this is MMA. And I think when it comes to putting it all together in the sport, man, I could be one of the guys that can be really freaking good at putting it all together.
Well, you're showing it, man. I mean, you're showing it. Like I said, you got 6 victories. You're in a streak right now. And, you know, I'm thinking you're going to pull it off again on the 30. I don't want to say much because I don't want to jinx anybody.
But, no, there's no jinx here, man. You can go out and say it. You can go out and say it.
I try to be careful, you know, because one thing I know about athletes, and I am one myself, and I've been around athletes my entire life, and I'll tell you, Some are very superstitious. So if you start saying stuff like that, people sometimes they get upset with you. But, I don't believe in that either. I think you're going to come out, you're going to do, a lot of the same stuff you've been doing, man. And you're absolutely right. The thing is, you can't, MMA is different. If you just want to strike, go do kickboxing, or go do boxing or do something like that. But you have to be good at taking it to the ground. You have to be good everywhere. I mean, it's a master of all trades kind of thing.
And like I said, man, I think that's going to be the difference between me and a lot of these guys is I will be able to take the game wherever I want to. And if you're a wrestler, I'm going to be able to stick with you there too. And then you're also going to have to strike with me. And then even if you get me down, you're going to have to deal with the jiu-jitsu. Sheesh, bro, I'm going to be a problem for these guys.
I'll tell you, man, I'm
getting me hyped talking about it, my man.
I'm trying to get you pumped, man. I'm trying to get you ready to fight. I'm trying to get you psyched out, and I want you to get in there and crush it, right? You have the right mindset, right? You have that mindset where it's not just about the physicality of it. It's about the mental game. It's about keeping yourself focused, knowing what the prize is, going after the prize, and finding the weakness in your opponent, right? So when you're in there and you're in the game, I mean, are there particular weaknesses you find, the most that you could take advantage of the most in a lot of fighters, or?
I mean, I just think me personally, because I wrestled so much growing up, wrestling is, I mean, I can take guys down, man, because I don't think I really fought too many grapplers as of yet. So a lot of these guys that I step in the ring with, man, it's just easy to dump them on their back, throw them, knees over waist, you know what I mean, take them down. But this fight, man, I'm fighting a striker, another striker in Ben Coyle. So who knows? You might see the same thing again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you got to be good at it all, and hopefully, a lot of guys are getting well rounded out there, and I see a lot of that in MMA going forward. I mean, you look and I think when I had Ken on, him and I were talking about the way the sport has advanced, right? Fighters back in the day, like you look at the guys like Chuck Liddell, all great fighters, phenomenal. But 100. You have guys now though that I'm like, wow. I mean, those guys were amazing then, but time has made it. It's the same thing in just about every sport though. You're seeing such advancement in the level of athlete.
It just evolves. Yeah, the level of athlete just, man, I remember, man, even just a couple of years ago, people started using the front kick for a while after Anderson Silva used it. And now it's the calf kick, right? So it's like the sport is constantly just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, and that's it, and there's so much going on in MMA that makes it the sport that it is,
100%, man, 100%. But that's also why I think it's the best sport in the world, and I think the hardest sport to be the best at. I think it's, and I think when you look at other sports too, a lot of team sports, it's easy to rely on somebody. I feel like it might be a little bit easier if I could just hand the ball off to Aljo every once in a while and just let him know. But like, nah, man, if I want to be successful at this, I got to go out there and I got to do it myself. It'd be easy if I could just, throw it to Marab and just let him take it from there. But, my worst day has to be better than the other guy's best day. And that's why you got to work so hard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So who is your who is your biggest or who or what is your biggest inspiration to keep fighting and keep going? I mean, what motivates you?
Biggest inspiration.
Yeah, man. You got to get your inspiration from somewhere, right?
I mean, I got to say my mom's up there. She's definitely the hardest working woman I know. And every trait I get in terms of work ethic is from her, man. She's a single mother and raised me and my two brothers. And dude, just seeing the level of hard work that she would put in just for us, just to put a meal on our plate, man, you can't not have that. You think
MMA is hard, man. That's harder.
Deal with me yet, trust me. We weren't really, I'm sure we definitely gave her a hard time.
As I did mine as well, and I'm talking, being a single mom, or working really hard to support a family. That's the hardest thing in the world, right? To kind of.
100%. I mean, look, shout out to all the single moms out there in the world. That right there is the toughest job. I was talking about mixed martial arts being the hardest sport. I think that's the hardest job you could possibly have, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So what does being a professional fighter mean to you? What is that, how do you identify that with yourself? I mean, what is that I mean, you know, I asked this question a lot to people, and it's always an interesting answer. Is what does it mean to be a professional fighter to you?
Man, I think like it's like we were talking about before, man. It's constant growth. And even being a professional fighter, I think it's helped me, you know, as a person outside of the sport. Just there's so many things you can get from it in terms of the discipline, right? To just be able to stick to your stringent schedule, stick to your health diets, and still work hard to the mental toughness it takes to be able to go through some of those training sessions, the hard sparrings, and even, you know, the tough situations in fights, and be able to keep moving forward. There's a lot of lessons you can learn from a fight that you can take and put into your own life. So I would honestly say being a professional fighter to me is all about consistent growth, man, in and out of the ring, in and out of that octagon, man. And that's the only way you're going to get better in the ring. That's the only way you're going to get, you know, better, I guess, at life, I guess, right? Like, you know, you always want to see yourself grow. You don't want to regress. So I think that looking at life in that same level of being the best fighter in the world, you look at life and you want to say, okay, I want to be a better version of myself from yesterday and the day before that, right? Those are the big takeaways I get from it.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it's just, you know, every fighter I interview and every fighter I'm around tends to know something other people don't know, right? It's that humility that you get. It's that, you know, you tend, you know, I mean, it's, you know what it's like to be humbled. You know what it's like to be on top. You know, you seem to have this, you know, fighters tend to seem to have this personality, or they seem to have this thing like, I know something, you know, that other people just don't know. They don't get it.
100%, man. Look, man, when you're the hammer your whole life, right? It's a little different when you become the nail for the first time. You know, you don't even think that concept could exist. But when you got guys like Merab who can pick you up and dump you on your head, Aljo who can choke you from wherever the hell he wants, and you got all these guys in the
will, right? Just choke you at will whenever he wants.
100%. Like we were saying before, man, there's no easy rounds in our room, man, and that kind of keeps you humble too, because it's just like, shoot, I got to keep working hard. I got to stay afloat in this gym. And then by the time you get out to the rest of the world, man, it's just a piece of cake. The rest of the guys are just easy.
It's nothing, right? The rest of it's gravy. That's it, you know. But yeah. I mean, like I said, you guys got a gym full of killers over there, and you know, I think you just got to be on your game every time you walk in there just to keep up. You know.
I mean, look, you think you're doing good standing up one day, and then all of a sudden you got James Gonzalez, who's fighting the day before me, the double champ, by the way.
Yep.
You got that guy on your back, and now all of a sudden you got a whole nother game you got to deal with, man. So I think the dope thing about our gym, man, is you got great strikers, you got great grapplers, great wrestlers, and then they're all competing with each other, getting each other better at the various different martial arts that we know. So, shoot, it's getting me amped up right now. I almost want to hit.
Gonna go hit something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, and that's it. I mean, I was hanging around there, and like I said, you could feel that. You could feel the teams, you know, just the team, I guess, team spirit or team mentality there, that everybody's there. You also mentioned James Gonzalez, because he was on the show too, not that long, you know, I don't know, probably about 6 months ago.
Tell me his jiu-jitsu isn't something different, man.
He is on another level. That's all I got to say about James. I mean, just another freaking level of, I mean, what I saw him do when he fought Pat Sabatini blew my, I mean, that video went crazy fucking viral, man. Crazy viral.
And this James coming up has just been training twice as hard since then. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I'm a fan. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that fight.
I'm a huge fan too. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you could see it from here. He's actually up on my wall of fame here. Where I plan on putting you someday, my friend. Soon. I'm gonna send you a picture. We're gonna put you up there.
After when get it going.
We're gonna get you rolling. But yeah, I mean, you know, James is definitely, I'm a huge fan. I think James's jiu-jitsu is definitely something special. The way he moves, the way he's like a freaking spider, man. He just, you know, just all of a sudden you're caught up in something.
Bro, yeah, no, seriously. Like, you think you got your arm out? All right, he's got your leg. You got your leg out? All right, he's got your other leg. And now and I'm telling he's been working twice as hard as the last fight. So for this fight, it's going to be something different.
Yeah, so we should be seeing something special. And you said the day before, right? I thought it was on the same day. But
No, he's fighting the day before. He's actually the main event of that fight. He's going to be the double champ.
Yeah.
I fight the day after him.
Yeah, because I know he's got the 135 belt or the 145 belt.
Got the 145 belt. That was when
he take the 135 belt, which I have no doubt that he'll take it. You know,
I mean, after that, right? You gotta ring. What's up, Dana? Right? Like you gotta get that.
Get the call, man. Yeah, definitely something special there. I mean, it's awesome. So what do you think, one of the things I'm very curious about, what do you think you need to work on still? What are some holes maybe that you need to fill? Are there any, or you think you're, I mean, I'm sure we all got stuff to work on. Is there anything that, anything that you could think of that you want to kind of really work on going forward?
I think, look, man, maybe if anything, just getting in there more, right? Like, I feel like at this point, and I think I still have to work on everything, top to bottom, from jiu-jitsu to wrestling to striking, of course. But now at this moment in my life, man, I feel like I also just need the fights, right? If it were up to me, man, I would have been able to I would have fought like 3-4 times already. I would have had, multiple fights under my belt as a pro. But, I mean, obviously COVID stopped that. But in terms of what I really need to work on, man, other than just the basic skills, the skills in every area, I just want to work on getting in there more, man. I want that experience. I want to face the guy who's really good at wrestling, and then the guy who's good at jiu-jitsu, and the guy who's good at striking. I want the best guys, that they can possibly put in front of me, so that way I can test my skills, No,
that's definitely a way to go, man. I mean, put yourself out there, test yourself constantly, and that'll definitely make you rise. I mean, that's the, you put yourself in the game, right? So.
And this kid, Ben Coyle, he's tough. He's going to be the kind of guy who's going to bite down on his mouthpiece. He's going to come forward. He's going to try and strike and try and slug it out. But, dude, I'm going to be right there in his face, man, ready for that action. So I can't wait.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think his game plan is going to be? You think it's going to be come in hard and just keep the pressure on and push you up against the cage and try to push you around, or
yeah, no, he's going to come out and try and strike with me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty certain in this. He's been saying this in a couple of other interviews and podcasts. I've been watching
him out.
I've been told certain things, right? Like I've been told he definitely thinks I'm going to wrestle him and he's going to strike me and I'm going to be running away from that game. But dude, I'm coming in there to scrap, man. And I just hope he's ready for the hardest 15 minutes of his whole life, because I'm telling you, he's not been through anything like being in the ring with me.
Yeah, man, I believe it. So where do you see yourself? So visualizing going forward, where do you see yourself 5 years down the road? Where do you see that? Where do you see yourself? UFC, or where do you see yourself?
5 years down the road, I'd be 30 years old? Oh, at that point, I would have had to have been a champion a couple times now. Hopefully by that point in 5 years, honestly, I would have liked to have won the flyweight belt, obviously, in the UFC. I would have liked to have also, besides winning that flyweight belt, man, I just would love to hop in the ring with Mighty Mouse too. Test myself, best guy in the world. Like that's the kind of guy I am, man. Like I want to fight. In 5 years, I would have fought Henry Cejudo already, or I would have fought Mighty Mouse or Figueiredo, or any of these tough guys in the division that are world renowned or pound for pound. I want those guys on the list, and then after we get those wins, then we could talk about 35. And I'm just that kind of guy, man. I'm hungry. I can't wait to get in there, but I need the experience. I need the fights. And 5 years from now, hopefully I'll have a couple of belts. Next time we do this podcast, right?
Absolutely, man. Next time I have you on, I expect to see some belts going on. I think you'll do it, man. You got the right attitude. You seem to have the right drive, the right motivation. And is that the dream fight for you, Mighty Mouse, or who would be the dream fight?
That's the dream fight, man, is Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. All right, good. That's awesome.
I'm telling you, if that fight happens, that will be the fight of the year.
That's awesome, man. Question I had for you. Where does the nickname Turbo come from? Where did you come up with that? I have to ask, man. I have to ask that question.
Obviously, I'm a pretty fast guy. I mean, there's no secret about that. But it actually didn't really start out as a good thing. Eric Heyer, he's my striking coach, man. He's helped me so much with everything in terms of striking, man. Great kicks, everything. Great Muay Thai. I was taking one of his classes one day, and he would teach me a combo. And this was, man, when I was young, and I was still very green compared to what I am now. I would just always try and rush it. So he would tell me, like, 1, 2, 3 kick, and I would try to do it so fast I would almost muffle myself and make it way worse than what it should be. And he would call me out. He'd be like, slow down there, Turbo. And then
so it was a little bit derogatory at first.
A little bit derogatory, but then I was like, all right, let me just own this. And then from then on, he just started calling me Turbo, and the name just stuck. Yeah. And then, you know, once I got a little bit better at handling that, you know, it actually came because of the speed. So it ended up working out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw me in the gym the other day. I'm working a bit with Jenny Nadell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's phenomenal. She's one of my favorite people, one of my favorite humans. Very, very cool person. And I actually I met her actually on this podcast. So I had sent out an email one day and I just asked her to come on, and she did. And we became friends after that. You know, and like I said, she's working with me. And one of my biggest issues is I tend to I rush things a bit. So, you know, I could see that being a little, I mean, I'm not super fast like you, because you're definitely way faster than me. But, you know, I tend to, she's like, you're better when you relax. You're much better when you relax.
What you trying to make to me, but I was just sitting there like, blah, 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 and then it would come out trash, man. I'm telling you what. But thank God you actually called me that, because it made me want to slow down and actually get it right, you know?
Yeah, well, that's what happened with me. Like I said, I'm throwing stuff and I'm messing it up because I'm trying to move too quick. And I'm rushing the movements a lot of times. And she's like, slow down. You're better when you relax. When you start to relax. And she's like, when you get tired, you're actually a little better because you're tired. You're not moving as fast.
100%.
I'm not screwing myself.
You know, that sounds like Jenny, though. That sounds like Jenny.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely her, and she, you know, like I said, she's great. But question: UFC 254. I have to go here, man, because I'm going to be doing I'm actually doing a podcast on later on this week on 254. We're doing what's called the weigh-in. I do it with Ray Flores from ESPN. And I actually have Diana Caravas coming on with us. I know you know Diana.
Yeah. Jim. Beast.
Yes, great person. And you know, gonna also have an amazing career. You know, we just got to get through all this crazy freaking pandemic shit, man. But you know, 254. Khabib versus Gaethje. What are your predictions, man? What do you think?
I think, man, if there's anybody who can beat Khabib, it is an elite striker who's also wrestled and who's also a crazy individual who doesn't care about anything coming in his way. I think Gaethje is probably the perfect person maybe to do it, but I still think Khabib gets the job done, man. I think there's just, watching this guy, man, when you see him take people down and you see the look on their faces and you see the way he chains those techniques together, once he gets you down, there's no getting back up. And, you know, we haven't really seen, I guess, Gaethje's takedown defense, you know, tested as much against high-level guys. But, man, I think there's only so much catch-up you can play in terms of that game. And I think, man, he's just so good when he gets to the ground. Now, if he can get back up, Gaethje, and keep it standing, it's going to be a problem. But
yeah, well, I mean, yeah,
I think it's going to be. It might be an easy night for Khabib. Just when he gets to the mat, that's it. It's like Aljo, man. It's like he gets you down, it's done.
Yeah, he crushes you. He just crushes you. I mean, he mauls people on the ground, and he's got that leg lock where he just kind of pulls you down. He flattens your hips out.
I stole that move. I started using.
Stole that.
I saw him use it. I was like, wait, I gotta do this one.
Hey, it works for him, right? Why fix it? If it ain't broken, don't fix it. I mean, that is a, you know, and that's the thing. I think, you know, I think Khabib is definitely going to try to take that fight to the ground. He does it every single fight. Yep. His trainers want him to take it to the ground. They don't want him to stand and try to throw punches back and forth. Even though I'm going to tell you, Khabib has probably one of the most underrated striking games out there. I mean, he can strike. He can hit. He's got some heavy hands. He just doesn't. It's not his preference. And that Dagestani grappling, man, is something special.
I main difference too with his striking is that he makes you so miserable on the ground that even when you have his punches coming at your face, you just don't want to get taken down again. So you bring your hands low, then he's hitting you, and then all this. You know what I mean? It's just too much to deal with.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh man, it's a problem.
Yeah, and I think you're right though. I think Gaethje, if anybody can get the job done, it's Gaethje. But I just don't know. I don't know that he's going to be able to do it. I think it's a better fight than Ferguson. Versus Khabib, even though nothing to take away from Ferguson. He's a great fighter, phenomenal fighter. But that was the fight that this was supposed to be. And then the fight with Gaethje happened, and to see what he did to Tony Ferguson, kind of solidified his spot to get this shot.
Can't deny it.
No, I can't deny it. I mean, he's phenomenal. I mean, he made a mess out of him. But it's definitely going to be a phenomenal fight. I will be watching very closely because this is the fight of the year as far as I'm concerned. And then, the next fight I want to see is Masvidal versus Khabib. If
so now we're just making up dream matches. Okay,
I do that, man. I want to see it. I can dream, can't I?
No. Hey, 100%, man, 100%. I would be pretty freaking crazy too.
Yeah,
I'm sure Masvidal would cut to 155 for that one if he could.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he would. But anyway, man, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you want to plug? You want to plug a website? You want to plug any social media? What do you got going on? Anything?
Yeah. So follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Phumi Nkuta _MMA. PHUMI NKUTA _ MMA. Follow me. Watch me fight next week. I fight Ben Coyle, and I'm going to beat him bad.